TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond. TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Your Real Estate Tea, where we teach you so you can become educated to achieve. I'm Andrea Farley, real estate broker with Maximum One Realtor Partners. And today we will be discussing how to purchase a home. I have a guest and my co-host today, Judge Parker. He is a broker with TAP Realty and also an instructor with TAP Real Estate School. And so first I want to say Happy Black History Month, Happy Love Month, and just want to point out a quick fun fact about Black history. And I want to feature Biddy Mason. She was an African-American nurse and entrepreneur and a philanthropist. She was the founder of First American Methodist Episcopal Church in Los Angeles, California. She was a woman who sought wealth through real estate, where she purchased a large amount of land, and she ended up dying the wealthiest woman in Los Angeles. So that's just a quick fun fact for Black History Month. And so the question is how to purchase a home. And Judge is going to assist me with giving us his insight and answering further questions about the process. So, what is the first thing that you should consider when purchasing a home? Number one is be realistic about where you are with your credit, because credit is key in this transaction. Now, a minimum score is 580, but the 620 is preferred. And so, Judge, do you want to add anything or expound or give us any example on being realistic with credit?
Well, if you know that you have not paid your bills on time, or you've had some challenges with making sure bills are paid on time, then you would understand that your credit opportunities will be limited based upon that sequence. Mm-hmm. And just to be very frank, if you've been late, then it's going to be tough to get a loan or a mortgage because you've got a lot of lates. And you're going to have to make sure that those lates are not many, but few and far between, because lenders want to look at consistency, and that's what they're giving you. Your credit is what's going to be the cost of the loan that you're going to receive.
Right. Absolutely. And also, guys, I do have a video with a credit repair and also a mortgage lender who can definitely expound on why it is important for your credit to be at a minimum score to get the mortgage. So you can definitely watch those videos as well. So, number 2 on how to purchase a home is do not change jobs frequently. Lenders want to look at job stability, and they also want to see, how long you've been with the same company, and also if you have been in the same line of business. So what are your thoughts about that, Judge, about changing jobs?
Well, changing jobs, if you change jobs and you're going to be in the same line of business you was before you changed, then you're fine. But if you're changing jobs and the line of business that you have is changing, then there's going to be an issue, because what happens is that the lenders like to see consistency. Mm-hmm. And if they can't show that you've been consistent with what you've done, then they're not going to be willing to lend you, because they're going to say you're just hopping from job to job to job to job to job, and therefore there's not going to be any consistency to say that your income is going to be constant. Mm-hmm. And, when you change a job, generally there's a 2-week period before the next job pays you based upon the salary that you're going to be receiving. So lenders look at all of that. They want to make sure that you're consistent in your job stability, your job history, as well as they look at your rental history too. From that perspective, you hopping from house to house to house.
Right.
Same thing. They look at all of those aspects,
right,
along with your job history, to make sure that you are someone that's going to be consistent in what you do.
Okay, that's definitely a great point. It's about minimizing the risk, and so it just maybe kind of looks like you are a bigger risk when you are not consistent and stable with your job history and also, rental history as well. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind when you are, setting out to pursue your plan for purchasing a home. And
definitely.
Okay. And so number 3 on how to purchase a home is, well, we just kind of mentioned it. Before you start to look, get approved. That is the first and foremost step that you want to do when starting this process. Because, we all have dreams and visions and grand visions and like what we like, and we like it fancy, but fancy comes with the cost. And so we definitely want to put it in perspective to know how much house to buy. You don't want to set your heart out on a home that is out of your reach. and you're kind of comparing everything else after, when the name of the game is buy real estate. Of course, you want to be happy with where you are. You want to be happy with the features of the home, but definitely, get approved so that way you can know where to begin to look. What do you think about that, Judge?
Well, yeah, definitely get approved so you know where to begin to look. There's nothing worse than wanting to buy a house and you don't qualify for it.
Mm-hmm.
You see this house, oh, I love this, I want to buy this, but you don't qualify for it.
Right.
So yeah, it's important that you get approved and you qualify for what it is that you're getting approved for.
Okay.
And to be able to do that is that you're going to have to sit down with the lender and give them the ugly truth about what it is you don't want folks to know about.
Right.
But it is what it is. You're just going to have to tell them. That's just what it's going to have to be. I say that jokingly, the ugly truth, but really that's what it is. It's the ugly truth. You're going to have to give them the ugly truth and the good about your credit and your payment history and the things that you do and how much money you make. I can tell you I make $1 million, but I'm only bringing home $100. So it's not the same. So yeah, you got to tell them the ugly truth about all of it to ensure that you get the proper guidance from the lender, and the lender gives you the right information to determine what it is that you qualify for.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is definitely key. And I think, that's something we'll circle back around to, is giving the whole truth and the whole picture to the lender, because that will only benefit you in the long run. And so let's talk about number 4, our step number 4 in how to purchase a home. Buy less house than you're approved for. Judge, do you want to give us an example or just kind of share more light on that one?
Well, buy less house than you're approved for, simply meaning that, hey, you want to buy a house. Say, for instance, you got 2 incomes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to buy a property on the lesser of the 2 incomes.
Right.
If at all possible. So you got 2 people in the household. And give an example. One is making $150,000, one is making $85,000.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the house on the $85,000 income. Well, why would I say that? Well, you got almost $300,000 here that you're making every year. About $230,000 is what you all are making. Well, but you don't want to spend the entire $230,000. You want to be able to live in the event that someone lost their job, or somebody's job situation changed, or somebody got sick and couldn't work anymore, things of that nature. Keep those things in mind. I know most people are like, well, we can afford it, we don't plan to get sick. No, nobody plans on anything bad happening to them.
Right.
But it does. So you live off of that one income from the standpoint of the purchase is concerned, and then therefore you're able to still do the other things that you want to do. Now, like I said, that's just a suggestion.
Okay.
That you do that.
Right.
Not necessarily the norm that you're going to see people do, but it's just a suggestion. You want to make sure that you suggest that to the degree that people understand that you're not. You just want to give them the best opportunity to succeed, because sometimes you can be house poor in the sense that you got all of this house, but you can't afford it. You can't afford to put furniture in it. You can't afford to buy yourself a car because you need one. You can't afford to take a vacation. You can't afford to go and buy yourself some clothes. You can't afford for a catastrophe to happen. So you want to make sure that you're not maxed out with your income. Yeah, granted, your income, you're bringing home, say, $10,000 a month. Don't mean you go get a $8,000 a month house note. No.
Right. Right.
If you bring home $10,000 a month, you know what? Get your $1,500 a month house note. $1,200 or no more than $2,000.
Yeah, I agree. Now, have you had any people that you've maybe suggested that to, and they kind of came around and said, you know what, I'm glad I took your advice on that, because this has allowed me different opportunities that I may have not have had if I hadn't followed your suggestion. Have you had that scenario?
Actually, I have. Yeah, I had a client who, husband and wife, that I was helping some years ago. They were buying a house, and their income was right at about $600,000, and she made more than him. No, back up. He made more than her in that sense. He made roughly about $375, and she was somewhere in the neighborhood of about $210, $220, and so he got very, very sick, very sick. They decided to buy the house on her income to begin with. He got very, very sick, and with him being sick, he wasn't working. He was out of work for about 2.5, 3 years. Well, because they did that, they were still able to keep their house.
Right.
They were still able to pay all their bills and afford everything that they had, to include that, he was getting some disability, which was enough to cover some of the other areas, like the car notes and things of that nature. But their house payment was solid because of the fact that she still had her job.
Right,
So,
right.
you buy, and even then, they bought under the means of what she could afford, maxed out on, from her side as a house payment.
Right.
So those things make sense because you just never know. And honestly, they were only in their house maybe 6 months
Before that happened.
Cancer.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And guys,
it just makes sense.
right. And that's only a suggestion, it's nothing more frustrating than having to feel like you're bound to your home, and feel like, you regretting the payment. You love the house, but now you hate it because because now that payment is a struggle. So, again, guys, it's only a suggestion. But, of course, working with us, we will definitely want to advise you to put you in the best position possible.
Well, here's something that people should be aware of when they're working with agents. And if the agent is so gung-ho on price and commission for them, then you might not want to consider working with that agent. Because if that agent is not giving you some guidance as to what potentially could be better for you and give you what you need from a amenities perspective, and really talking to you from a logical perspective, then it's not good if you don't get that. Real estate is about relationships, and I want to be able to have relationship with you long term, where you recommend your friends and your family and other people to me because of the fact that I'm giving some guidance that's going to help you become better at what you're doing, but at the same time, it doesn't break you by doing.
Absolutely.
You want to be able to live again. And if you call me back to say, hey, I got a promotion, my salary went up $150,000, I want to bump my sales price up, I want to use $50,000 more of my salary in order to cover a different type of house or a different mortgage. Okay, fine, that makes sense. You're still way below your mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
it gets a little trickier when you only have one income, when you have one person. And then at that point, I always suggest it. If you can afford $500,000, buy 3.
Right. Absolutely. Well, guys.
Buy 250, do half of it.
Right. Well, these are some great tips. We have more. We're going to take a brief intermission, so stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Dynasty. Welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your event live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your talk show, sitcom, showcase, and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers, show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are very exciting times we live in. Traditional TV is all but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is now on the Roku platform with a viewership of 46 million and counting. Roku is an industry leader in internet TV. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and streaming your own show or movie, or coming in as a sponsor or an advertiser, please send your contact information with a short description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you. Hi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Tea, where we teach you so you can become educated to achieve. And we are going to continue our conversation with my co-host and guest, Judge Parker, on how to purchase a home. So we're going to continue with number 5, which is set aside time to view properties. A lot of times, buyers will, say, okay, this is on their schedule. They will tell you everything that they have to do, but you guys have to set aside time because we as real estate professionals, we set aside that time with you. So, Judge, do you want to expound on that or give an example of how setting aside time or the lack thereof caused a client to miss an opportunity?
Well, yeah, and here's what happens. A lot of times is that you have to understand that the market or the climate that you're in. Mm-hmm. Right now, we're in a climate that houses are actually averaging market time no more than about 5 to 10 days. They're selling pretty quickly, especially in price points from about $100,000 to about $250,000. Mm-hmm. They're not staying on the market very long at all. And, and I always encourage buyers, we need to get to it as quickly as possible so we can make sure that we get you the best opportunity to purchase it. And, buyers come back and says, well, yeah, I hear you, I want to sleep on that and I'll get back with you. Well, mm-hmm. my response to them is that if you're going to sleep on it, you may not sleep in it. Mm-hmm. Because somebody else slept on it last night and they get ready to sleep in it tomorrow night. They're going to go ahead and make the offer. They're going to go ahead and get it. So you don't have that kind of time. And you have to be very direct and poignant. Now, just understand that if something doesn't work out during the course of the time that you've got the property under contract, your agent should put you in a position where you are having a contract that has a due diligence period that allows you the opportunity to terminate for any or no reason whatsoever. So all of those things come into play as well. But you gotta be quick with it in order to get out there as soon as possible, because a lot of times houses are getting multiple offers on them, meaning that one house can have as many as one of my colleagues told me last night. She has a listing right now that she listed 3 days ago that has 90 offers on it. 90. That's insane. 90 offers on one property. That's because of the fact that it's in an area that's desirable and everybody sees it, everybody wants it. So you got to make sure that you got to set aside the time and be serious in that time frame that you're setting aside in order to see properties. You can't tarry in your pace of doing it. You got to move forward with getting it done quickly.
Right, absolutely. This market is fierce. It's definitely in favor of the sellers, and on previous shows, we have talked about that, and that's something that I've mentioned on multiple occasions. So, being that the market is so fierce, and there's so much competition, we as real estate professionals, such as myself and Judge, we definitely have strategies to be able to, put you in the most, or give you the advantage when it comes to bidding on properties. So, that is something that is definitely important with working with an agent that you trust and will give you sound advice.
Definitely. Sound advice is important. But at the same time, if you feel that you're not getting sound advice from the agent who's working with you, then I would suggest that you reach out to that agent's broker. Ask that agent's broker in order to assist you with getting the right information so that way you can be put on the right path. And brokers, that's their duty and their role is to do such. So,
right.
By all means, get with their agent's broker, and in terms they can help you with that.
Absolutely. Okay, and so we're going to move on to number 6. Number 6 is make a quality selection that fits your needs and not someone else's. So guys, we have stories that, buyers are looking for their home, they know what they want, or sometimes they may not, but they're listening to everyone else tell them about what they should get, how much they should spend, You know, what type of features the home should have. You know, a lot of times that friends and family committee will try and influence your decision. So, Judge, what do you want to say about that?
Well, my thing behind that is that if your friends and family ain't paying for it, their opinion doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just be honest.
Right.
You have to keep it real from that perspective, because people will talk you out of doing something that you in your heart want to do, but because they don't approve it, you back away from it. Friends and family are good balancers. They can help you in certain areas and help you understand what it is that you might need to consider. But to allow them to make the decision for you, I think is fruitless, because now what happens is you now put yourself in a position where you are not getting what you want because somebody else's opinion was inserted and prevented you from getting what you wanted the way that you were seeking to get it. So you have to be sure that you don't put yourself in that position. Because
Right.
friends and family, like I said, are great, but at the same time, if they're not paying for it, their opinion does not matter to the degree as to whether or not you should or shouldn't. You can hear it, listen to it, take some information from it, but other people will talk you out of doing what you should be doing
Right.
and what you want to do. You know,
Absolutely.
I just assume that if they're not paying for it, there's no reason for them to be so involved and inserted in the decision making.
Right. Right.
Now, some may disagree with that, and that's fine. But I promise you that what will happen is that somebody else will always talk you out of doing something. Or, let me say it this way, sometimes they talk you into doing something that you don't really want to do.
That's
So
true, too.
you need to be mindful of that. I can use an example that you and I had this situation before, that the mother talked the daughter out of buying the house.
Right.
But now the daughter has seen the error of her ways and said that, dog, I should have bought that house when I had the chance. Now it's not there. Now they want to go ahead and do it. But the one that
Right.
they could have gotten with the amenities that they wanted at that time is no longer available. And if you find the one with the amenities that you wanted today than what you saw a year ago, you're going to pay more for it because the
Right.
price have gone up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is very important. That is very key. You know, prices are increasing. We could talk on that a whole hour. So that's something we will address on a different show. And so let's just continue to number 7 on how to buy a home. And number 7 is get an inspection. And we talked about that in depth. I had an inspector on last week's show. So if you missed that, you definitely want to watch that, because, you know, as he stated, that small investment in the upfront can save you thousands of dollars at the end. You know, an inspection is something that you want to do, you should do, because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting, you know, your money as far as purchasing a specific home. So knowing what you're getting into is something that you want to always, always, always know before you walk into it. And so I know that we are kind of cutting close to our time. So I do want to also mention the appraisal. The appraisal is number 8. And we are going to actually have an appraiser on for next week. So if you have any questions regarding appraisals, you can send us an email at afarleyrealtor@gmail.com. And so, Judge, do you have anything you want to add to inspections or appraisals?
The inspection is your friend to tell you what it is that you're buying, and if there's any issues that you need to be concerned about with the purchase of the property that you're buying. And that's the inspection.
Right.
Now, the appraiser And let me back up again and say this too with the inspection. The inspection is a time for the parties to become intimate with the property that they want to purchase, meaning that, hey, I'm now going to look at this property differently. The appraiser is the individual who is going to justify to the lender the cost of the property is accurate.
Right.
And that's their role. That's their role and that's their purpose.
Right.
And to tell the lender if they see anything that necessary that needs to be pointed out in order to make sure that the property is in good shape. So it also gives them information pertaining to the condition.
Absolutely.
Along with the appraisal. So they have to do what is called a minimum standards report as well.
Okay. And guys, that's very key. The inspection and the appraisal are two very vital parts of the process. One is mandatory. The appraisal is mandatory. That's something that you cannot, if you're getting a loan, I'll say that, you cannot bypass that process. That is how the lender determines how much money they will lend you, is by that appraisal, okay? While the inspection is optional, it is definitely highly recommended. And so we're going to go into the last point on how to purchase a home, and that is to close the deal. Closing the deal is the transference of ownership. It is finalizing the sale of your home. It is also getting the deed as well. And so although there's a lot more that we can go into on that, we'll just kind of keep it simple, and we can always address any questions that you may have. Again, you can send us an email at afarleyrealtor@gmail.com. And so, guys, I do want to say there is one tip that I want to share one mistake, let's say that, one mistake to avoid when purchasing a home. Because, guys, we know there is such a high demand for homes, and the supply is very, very, very limited. This is often leaving buyers with the option to buy new construction. New construction is great. And so, guys, I just want you to know that the new construction agents represent the builder. They do not represent you as the buyer. So when you walk into that subdivision and you're letting them know what you want, you're looking at this property, just know that they represent the builder. They are not representing you, and they do not, I'm not going to say they don't have your best interest, but their interest is for the seller, which is the builder. So it is definitely suggested that you get an agent such as myself or such as Judge, who can definitely help you navigate the process. Judge, do you want to kind of briefly expound on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you are going into those home communities, again, always be advised that the builder is representing, the agents there is representing the builder. And no disrespect to them, they're doing their job, but at the same time, the law says that everyone is entitled to representation. So you should be willing to go and get yourself some representation too. And in most cases, representation costs you nothing.
Right.
Meaning that you can get an agent to represent you, and that agent's fee in most cases will be paid by the selling broker or the builder. The builder will pay that agent's fee for representing you. So you definitely need to make sure that you get some representation to make sure that your interest is protected and that someone is there looking out for you on top of the builder's agents who's looking out for the builder's interest. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's paramount that you do that. And don't be afraid to say no to those agents in those communities until you get your representation. You want to make sure that those things are done, and you can say no, and they can't tell you, well, we can't give you that price because you're not going to use us exclusively. No, they can't do that.
Right.
But what you can do is say, hey, I want to get somebody that's going to help me like you being helped.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, that is key, again, because we are aware of how everything is flowing with this market. So new construction is kind of where it is. And so, again, please be mindful in knowing that That on-site agent, although they are assisting you, they represent their client, which is the builder. So that is all we have for today. I want to thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you are looking for a home to buy, if you're wanting to sell, please reach out to us. My number is 404-965-5041 with any questions. Please reach us at afarleyrealtor@gmail.com. And Judge, do you want to leave your information?
Sure. If you have any additional questions, or if you have the need in order to get a real estate license, you can reach me here at the Real Estate School at 770-727-5701. That's 770-727-5701. Also, if you would like to look at the classes that we offer and that are available, you can check us out on the web. You can put us in Google at TAP Real Estate Academy or TAP Real Estate School, and it will pop up. Or you can go directly to our website of tapacademyatl.com.
Okay, awesome. One other thing I want to add, guys, for these videos, you can go on YouTube and watch it on Dream Real Estate is the YouTube name, and on Facebook, Your Real Estate Tea. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed week.
TV 1061, conceptualizing your ideas across the world and beyond.